Okay, you've seen how to set the intensity of a light, either by using its color or its multiplier. But it's possible to create a variable intensity within a spot or a direct light. And that's accomplished down here. For the spotlight, you have a spotlight parameters rollout. And there are two parameters of note, hot spot and fall off. Alternatively, you can call them beam and field if you prefer. And those are represented by these different cones here. This is the hot spot, and this is the fall off cone. The hot spot is always inside the fall off. The idea is that the light is at maximum intensity inside the hot spot region. It then falls off to 0 at the edge of the fall off cone. I'll make a test rendering and we can see what the result looks like with this setup. So the spotlight is bright in the middle and then it fades out. You can see that on the floor the best. Now if I increase the size of the hot spot, what that will mean is that the light is at full intensity inside the hot spot, and then it will quickly fade to 0 intensity. So we should be getting a rendering that has a more dramatic spotlight. And indeed, that's what we see. If you want to have a softer look to your spotlight, then set the hot spot at a smaller value. I'll right-click on this spinner to set the hot spot at its minimum value. And I'll also increase the fall-off. Now when we make a rendering, we should see much more subtle illumination coming from this light source. You'll see the same types of controls in a direct light. I'll change the type of this light, and now the rollout is called directional parameters in reference to its type. You'll see the same parameters down here. Overshoot means that the light will not fall off. It will illuminate everywhere as if it was an omni light. However, the shadows that you can cast with the light will exist within the fall-off cone or cylinder. You can also change the shape of your cone or cylinder into a rectangle. And if you do that, you can then change the aspect ratio of the rectangle if you prefer. You can also fit that aspect ratio to the proportions of a bitmap that you can select here. This can be useful when you're creating projection maps, which I'll cover a little later.